good, then I'm good, I guess.
Sounds good. I'm hitting live now.
All the dogs moving. Hello.
And there we are. We are live. Hello, everybody.
Hello, Stuart. What a day, eh?
I know, right?
Did some launching of things, so oof, what a day.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes.
So there's some theories about this episode.
Oh,
just so you know.
Yeah, I've heard nothing about this episode except, our discussion, so I don't know. Now I've got 3 audios going here. Maybe it's finally. Okay, that must be me. Okay, right. Okay, you have a listen because it must have been an echo of you.
We're just catching up. Be right with you guys. Sounds fine to me.
Cool. Yes, the penultimate episode of Lower Decks. It has felt like it zipped by, and I don't think I'm super wrong to say, and left less of an impression than we would have liked.
But hey.
Sorry, it blanked out your reaction. Sorry, what's your reaction?
I said I disagree.
So it's left more than a reaction than you hoped?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Especially with people's theories. Like, I did my live last night.
And I mean the whole season, not this one, but just the whole season, I meant.
Oh, the whole season, yes.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely, yeah.
Okay, that's... Okay, hell, like, you like the season more?
They meant this episode, but...
No.
Yeah. So, yeah, Ozzy throws in $2 and says, got a new ship. Love how that's a thing now.
Yep.
And SWTX Chaser throws in $50. Oof.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic way to start. Thank you so much. Been a while since I made it to a live. Really a good twist in this episode. Yeah.
Several, if you break it down. Damn, that's tremendous. That makes live a whole lot more worth doing. So on that pep, I'm going to start sharing, Stuart.
All right, please do. Guys, hit that like button if you haven't already. We have 28 people here with 18 likes. Let's get those likes up. I want to get to at least 50 pretty early on. So please hit that like button. Super chat if you want to show your support for the channel and for us and for doing this. We really appreciate those as well. You can also help us out on Patreon/Trekyards, kind of on a monthly basis, or join the channel as well. That's another monthly subscription way to help us out. And it means a whole lot to both us financially and also to the YouTube algorithms if you join the channel. So at least click the join button and just look at your options. Kind of a monthly way to help us out. So we really appreciate that. Also, of course, the links down in the description below for Teespring, TeePublic, all the Trekyards merch. Got some really cool stuff. And we want you to have some really cool stuff. So go check it out and see what you want to order. We'd really appreciate that as well. But yeah, joining the channel is big. I'd like at least one new member join this live would be awesome. So just click the join button, at least look at the options. When you click the join button, you're not obligated to do anything. It just shows you the different tiers you can get and see what rank you might want to be part of the channel. So but yeah, let's talk about this episode and it'll be a fun discussion. So there you go. Hopefully it all goes well. Been feeling a little bit under the weather today, low energy and stuff. So hopefully we can get through this no problem. So anyway, hit that like button. It's one of the easiest ways to help us. And share the content around, comment on all of our weekend, of course, because we got a new ship and returning ships. So always good to have those things, especially for Trekyards. So
yeah, a lot of ships to look at.
Yeah.
All across
new
the
and
board.
Returning, which is always great.
And I'm sure you said while I was away, but pretty darn good. Darn good replicas. They have done they often do.
Good episodes coming out this weekend, guys. So
fun filled.
Ooh, Dave Moon said just ordered a shirt off of TeePublic. Awesome.
Well, thank
Hopefully
you.
Enjoy.
In advance, you've already bought it, but thank you in advance for getting it and posting pictures about yourself in it on Twitter and tagging us because we'd love to see.
And on Facebook. Facebook.
Yes. Yeah, they're genuinely good quality shirts with good quality fabrics. I have many now from that site. Absolutely well worth it. So Stuart, then
Taylor T, $20.
Ah,
I love the mural of the first planet and the new ship. The DS9 green ship looked amazing. I can't wait to see more swing by missions for the Cerritos.
That is true.
I was sad to see such a character regression for Captain Freeman. Yes. Yeah, the mural was fantastic. Swing by missions are a great idea considering how most TNG episodes end. Just wish it wouldn't take 17 years for Starfleet to go back in most cases. But yeah. And yeah, Freeman is not the worst character in all Star Trek history, in my opinion. So
he's obviously joking.
Zango, I'm not though. Zango 76, $5.
Have you met Michael Burnham?
Yeah, she's a miserable, pathetic human being, Freeman, for what she did to her daughter. So anyway, moving on. Zango 76, $5. You'd think after incidents like A Piece of the Action and Wrath of Khan, swing bys would be more of a thing. After incidents like, yes, absolutely, yeah. Somebody go check on Khan and his men, make sure they're okay. Oh wait, a planet exploded. What did you think of this episode? Liked it? Loved it? Meh. Didn't like it. That's the new poll. Go vote.
And about swing things, about them not being before. Let's assume that the universe starts at TNG. That whereas that's like where they have the resources to do that, right? Well, they just come off the Cardassian War. They've got like 3 years in the Dominion War. Then they've got to rebuild from that. So there's such a low priority of this sort of stuff for the entire length of pretty much season 1 of TNG to 7 of DS9, and this is not that long after that. So you could argue now they've rebuilt enough to think about doing that. We're busy enough doing normal missions. Swing bys are another thing to add onto the list. But then if you say, well, they should have done it for the last 100 years, yes, fine. But also, like, even by season 1, I mean, this species is not even warp capable. Like, that's part of the maybe they are, maybe they're not. It's weird. From like season 1 TNG, it doesn't have warp capable as part of the prerequisite to meet species, so they ignore that rule. So if they ignore that rule earlier as well, yeah.
If there's Federation interference or assistance in any way, like a lot of TNG episodes are, even if they're not warp capable, there should be Federation assistance to help with the problems that they fixed, quote unquote, in TNG. Like the one with Rogar Danar is a perfect example. They take over. They basically have to. They
murder the government, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Because it's not just because these people from the sky said everything's fine, get along now. We're going to just get along when they leave. Yeah, you need to send ambassadors and people to help out with negotiations.
I mean, we don't know how many ships there are in the fleet, how many places. I mean, if this is happening to every 5th ship accidentally, if the list is growing every day, it's a hard. Yes, it was just the Enterprise D missions, fine, but we can't really think on the same scope. And if places then take months to get to, then you're committing to send a ship, because it can't just be an average ship. It's got to be a special ship. It can't just be Science Mojo 3. So you've got to send a specialist ship across the Federation to go second contact, and what I mean. There's obviously reasons why it didn't happen beyond plot, but I wouldn't be as harsh on them necessarily.
Disagree. Again, you can just swing by with a ship, drop off like a delegation of ambassadors and some cultural people, and come back and get them another time. Have them there for like a month or so to help out. If they get murdered, well, then there's a bigger problem. So
yeah, but when it's like a 6-month round trip to take people to that planet, you're then committing ships for the half of the year, and if you've got 20 of those on a list, you're now losing 20 ships half a year just to do mistakes of a previous thing, and then you've got to send security teams and specialist crews, like you say, deployment. It becomes a very complicated thing.
I'm sure you're arguing that side of the argument. Usually you're like, the Federation should be there to do things and help out. And
well, no, I'm just saying.
Up its mistakes.
No, I'm not saying they shouldn't be.
You're playing devil's advocate today, and I don't like it because I'm on the correct side for a change. And
for a change, yeah, that I'll agree with. No, it's more a case of there's obviously the scale is hard to do. If they could have, they would have, but there's reasons why they couldn't have. They should have, but space is big.
Usually that's my argument. Usually I'm the devil's advocate in this case. So stop it.
All right.
So what do you think of the conspiracy theory, though? Because
What conspiracy theory?
I'll quickly lay it out,
Yeah.
and then you might look at the episode differently. So the conspiracy theory is that the Federation reporter was a plant by Bonamigo to make the Cerritos look bad, because they knew that there was no problem with the first planet. They sent him to the second planet knowing the Breen were there, and it gave him a chance to show off his new super secret project, the Texas class. And it's funny because his name is Bonamigo, which means good friend. That's the direct translation. So I can see him being like the typical shitty admiral from Star Trek for Lower Decks. And I didn't really think about that theory until somebody mentioned it last night. And again, SBS Guru mentioned it today in the chat. I like it. And it's a little bit too obvious, honestly, even though I didn't realize it right away. So I don't know.
But is it as obvious as Tyler Vok? Because they've done obvious reveals that they thought were clever.
Oh, I also want to clarify that when I say Freeman is the worst character in Star Trek history, I meant not written wise. She's written very well. Yeah, but as a human being, she's just awful at this point. So, anyway,
yeah, she wouldn't just kill Tuvok. Should have killed Tuvok and Neelix's punishment, is what you're saying.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, do you buy this conspiracy then? Is that now your official?
I do. I don't know if it's officials. I forget who super chatted last night with it, but they said if they are wrong at the end of the season, if they're wrong and it's not the case, he's going to super chat $250 to us because he's so convinced that it's actually
Right.
that Buenamigo's the kind of a bad guy, and was pushing his agenda with the Texas class. Because we said it ourselves. Why would the Texas class come flying in? How'd they know about the Breen?
And my answer to you as a joke was they didn't, and yet they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I said to you in the first review that I already thought the episode was suspicious, based on how everyone acted. And there was little bits here and there didn't quite work. Second time around, I knew the reveal, so I knew there's no suspicion. It's very, very flat. It's just people reacting in very simple ways, just getting the wrong end of the stick. I didn't get the same vibe for a second time because I knew the reveal. Yes, the ship turn up for no reason is weird, but it could also fall under the category of why was a Millennium Falcon in range? Because it was.
Yeah.
Why did Riker manage to get 130 identical ships with 1 hour's notice? How did manage to get across the?
It links into what he says to the reporter, where he says, "Oh, now I can officially announce the declassified." Like he's so proud of the thing. It seems a little bit too coincidental. You know what I mean? So. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, Lower Decks is smarter than that, unless they're not this time, because they've been a little bit less on point kind of writing this season. Not bad, just a little bit less on point. I did say to you as well very explicitly, the second episode will entire change the quality of the first episode, because it's such a place to go. Either it's going to go huge, it's going to go weird, it's going to go underwhelming. Like, it's such a tricky end point where they knew where they were going, but end it where they ended it. If that's part of the reveal, it would then fundamentally change the first part, obviously, and that might be why it feels so weird, because it's hollow without the knowledge of the secret stuff. And certainly introducing the new Admiral, he's been here the entire season, which has been a bit weird. Him being the first episode and building in our brains as a good guy, knowing the family being very personal, is what you do if you want to do a dark reveal. Obviously, that would be a good move, and the reporter I don't buy as much. Seemed quite genuine and a bit ditzy, but I mean, just hire a ditzy reporter,
But can she be trusted because she's wearing a CBS logo?
She is, yeah. And obviously, like I say, the Breen. We said this in one of our reviews, but I'll say it now. It's a little bit insane that when you warp up to a planet, you at least passively scan. And there's no chance that they detected, no life signs on a planet they should have 10 billion or whatever. So they must have scanned the planet, seen a huge population of not Breen, but not really actively scanned with a beaming to see the lack of Breen. And they're not that stupid. The entire point there is just taking contact. They would have scanned it. So the Breen couldn't have killed the entire planet, just this one city. But then why bother? like either that'll be hugely paid off next week, or even Stuart, do you want to double down on this for a second? What if the Breen are actually just Starfleet officers in Breen costumes because you can get away with pretending to be Breen because they're in full suits? What if that's the
And they
Starfleet
captured
crew?
the ships during the Dominion War.
Yeah.
But then got annihilated and destroyed and killed.
Oh well,
by a
no.
Starfleet
Or they
ship.
could be automated too, because if they can automate the good guy, they could automate the bad guys potentially.
I don't buy that as much, but
Well, it's just kind of like the M5 computer. It's
what-
just that sort of situation again. And then anything they
What I
saw
do
was just
know-
a yeah.
what I do know is that the conspiracy is led by whoever this ad is for. There you go. So there's your conspiracy. You know,
But would that be
person
a
responsible.
would that be a good reveal? 'Cause it would certainly close the loop of, well, why?
No, I don't think that's a good reveal at all. It's an awful reveal, in my opinion. I'd just be happy to have the Breen back. It's very twisty, and I could see them doing it as like a ooh surprise. But then you're really going corrupt Starfleet, and I just hate corrupt Starfleet stuff.
Well, you say that, but if no one dies, is it really that corrupt? I mean, to sell,
Yes.
to sell, you know, if the Breen aren't really there, as in they're not really beaming up to the ship, they're still on the planet. Their weapons are hollow or set to stun, and those petrol
You know they
explosions
materialized the civilian, right?
could be a hollow person. I mean, that feels like almost. Why is there one person surviving that happened to be right there, and they all happened to miss? I mean, when we did see the first episode, there was that huge, pretty fantastic montage of Secret Service stuff. So this could just be the reverse side of the coin. They're now in the middle of a Secret Service mission, and we now know Section 31's back in place. So this easily could be a Section 31, working with the Admiral guy to get this program working because they want ships they don't have to monitor.
I hope that's not the case. That's lower decks just
It's getting too
the lowest
serious.
it's taking that lowest hanging fruit and going, well, Section 31 conspiracy, let's make things dark, and it's like, no, please don't.
Because
That's not what this show's about.
that would link the first episode with the Secret Service stuff and all these other things actually quite well. Which all good conspiracies need to make sense with evidence.
I would be happier if that is the case, that Buenamigo and whoever else is helping him are involved in that. But Section 31 with the other Boimler are there to take down or investigate Buenamigos. So you see Section 31 actually doing something good for a change and trying to take down corrupt admirals. That's what I would prefer if that was the actual case. So
Yeah.
SPS Guru 2000 though throws in €20.
There you
There's
go.
also the issue that it makes little sense to attach a reporter to some low-profile mission like a swing by, and having her do interviews with the crew of a lowly support ship like the Cerritos. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, you want people to join Starfleet, so even if you're not going to get assigned a good ship because of your test scores or whatever, you want people to see what it's, that's there's still other things to do out there. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think it's weird at all, but I can see why you'd say that, SPS Guru, but I kind of disagree. Yeah. Anyhow, let's talk about this thing.
So, Stuart, what do you think of season 9, episode 3, season 3, episode 9?
It started off a little bit for me. I did like that they were returning to the Symbiosis episode, which is season 1, episode 22, in case anybody's wondering. And it was 17 years ago. We got all that established, and the recap from Ransom with the pad was beautiful, perfect summation of the episode, and I like that they were going back to that. And I thought that's just going to be a mediocre episode. I like that they're touching on something old from TNG. I like the swing by idea. Pie eating, typical lower decks. And then the whole as it built, and I'm like, what? How did they know that she said something bad? I mean, this Mariners made a change, like we've all seen it. Why are they all chastising her? Freeman kicking her out to Starbase 80. It's cool to see a little bit of Starbase 80, even if it's just on a view screen. Those damn bats and the dirty shuttlecraft. So that was cool. And then the ending, like with the Breen and that battle and the new automated starship were all very, very cool, and I really like this. So I really like this episode. as a whole. I wasn't sure how I felt like going into it. Like 10 minutes in, I was like, this is just a regular, like beginning of the season kind of episode where they were okay, they're good, they're just not great. It kind of turned into a great episode at one point. I'm not quite sure where. It might have been the Breen, but yeah. So I really enjoyed this one. How about you?
Yeah, it works better when you know the reveal. I think you can follow it better. Knowing the knowing why everything's happening helps a lot. Although it does feel like a part one. I mean, so much that there isn't a satisfying ending. There's a next week, so it's not satisfying in a way. And I do think that the Breen reveal is such a game changer, and then they get destroyed within 3 minutes, and it feels like such a letdown in the moment, because that by itself is not quite as big, but it's almost as big as bringing the Trekyards back thematically. And they get killed, and you're thinking, oh, what is the real story here? Well, it's not about this story is not about the swingbacks. It's not about Freeman's pissed off with Mariner. It's not about the Breen. It's not about the ship. Is it about Mariner then? You know what I mean? It's so many pies. So many pies are in the air that to know which ones are going to land successfully, this score will entirely change. I liked it, but based on next week, it's going to be different.
Make or break, yeah.
Yeah, it's super dependent, and I'm disappointed that we have not got a Wage Douche quality episode this season, nor a end of the season episode. I think the season. I don't think they can give us the epic end episode of WoW. I don't know how they can take here to there. Not to say it wasn't good, but it wasn't. We're not leading to the epicness of season 2 quality, which is sad because that was. I mean, lightning in a bottle only strikes so many times, but they are not doing it with this. Something's certainly missing here. That said, some of the ideas are great. Seeing the season 1 stuff, like you say, is brilliant, and it lets you fix this little hole in canon. The Breen are done tremendously well, every aspect. Fighting contest is fine. I quite like, unreplicating them by putting them to replicating shredders. Fun. I mean, of course, you need the power. I like that, and I kind of wish we'd seen Mothra getting stunned. But boy, what a commitment. Alpha shift. Although the issue of why the hell is the mum, as you said, moving Mariner, moving the reporter to Mariner's space is idiotic and unrealistic and implies it's some sort of great conspiracy, because you just wouldn't do that. You wouldn't. Like, there's no rationale for that unless it's a conspiracy. So that scene was bad in the context of the episode. That didn't work at all. And certainly the first watch, it sort of works, but I said it felt conspiratorial. Mariner is so overly positive this week, it's out of character. She has not got here yet, which makes you think she's now doing a mission because she's overly positive. Knowing that we've kind of skipped from step 6 to step 9 in terms of positivity, then the crew being so bitchy makes more sense, because she's just being 1,000% positive, and they're acting as if she's from last week, as it were. I wish they had set up they could have mentioned in previous episodes the idea of this go back, because the mum says, "Oh, I've been working on this for a long time." Well, not to us. You just did it this week, and so for her to yell at Mariner because she messed with this plan, you invent it this week for this week, so it doesn't have the same impact of, well, why is she bitching this far? Well, is there a reason? Secret reason? Maybe. Don't know. Because you are absolutely condemning your daughter to a 0 career, and of course she's going to quit. That's what I got from the second watch. Them like, well, of course she's going to resign. Like, what's the point? She's not going to. She's just too good to live out her life in this place. You've thrown out Starfleet without doing it. Like, you knew, you must have known it was going to happen. It's obvious second time. So it just feels like a very abrupt, kind of like Tendi last week of, now I want to be captain. It's like, and now I'm, screw you. It's like, well, that's not earned in the way you think it is, show. Not quite. You're close, which tells you that it's not going to stick. She's going to be back in Starfleet next week. It's either a plan or stupid. Like, it's to make something that radical without being earned, then undo it without being earned, makes it all feel more meaningless. Like losing these Cerritos at the end of 2 felt powerful. Re-getting it in 3, underwhelming. Because they should have spent at least two with that being an issue, and it wasn't.
I personally don't think she's going to be back in Starfleet next week. I think they're going to save that till next season. as a will she won't
Yeah.
will she won't she kind of thing. But Aeon though, $7. So
Thank you.
Prediction: the evil AI bots escape and use those new ships or the Texas class ships turn evil, as AI usually does in Trek to free the AI bots. Yeah, I mean, bring in Armis and not Armis, Agamus and Peanut Hamper in would be brilliant with these drone ships. I we have a video coming out on the weekend. I kind of expressed my problems with an AI ship or a drone ship, so we'll just check those out. We'll get to that when we get to that in this episode too. So.
Yeah, it feels slightly telegraphed with that now, but that's okay. I mean, you've got to set it up to pay it off. But yeah, certainly.
SVS Guru 2000 throws in €10.
Thank you.
As for Brekka, why were the Breen even there? Nothing's on fire or smoking, showing that they didn't attack the planet and that the downfall happened long ago, as if they were waiting for them there. I wouldn't say long ago. It could have literally been a week. Everybody abandoned the city because the Breen army was marching in or beaming in. So, you know.
Fire needs fuel to burn. It's not going to be burning for a week. And the city looked okay. It looked more like an evacuation. It looked more like shock troops. I mean, as we said in our review, this is obviously the capital, which has been more one type. Say the city is more about bureaucracy than industry, so therefore people can just sort of leave. Yeah, I imagine it's, you know, they were attacked a month ago and they've been locking this one city. They haven't got spaceships anymore, so they can't leave the planet, and they've just been holding out the rest of the world. They just want this one place to steal resource number 1 or 2. But yeah, it's very very odd. It doesn't. There's something missing there for sure of why.
Yeah.
Because there. But then again, 17 years, anything could have happened in between. But still, you know.
The STEM support, $5. Thank you so much. Just had to pop in and say this. It's called Texas class because it came in with guns blazing like Yosemite Sam. Absolutely. Nice. And Dark Lord Revan, $5. This whole thing feels like a setup for Captain Freeman, and she is clearly falling for it. Could be. That could be the case. Absolutely.
A setup in what way, though? Who's setting up
I don't
her
know.
for what?
I don't know, but the way they made her look bad on... Well, first she gets blamed for the bombing of the Packwood planet, and then she gets off on that one, and now somebody's setting her up to look bad and be broadcasted throughout the Federation.
But nothing...
It kind of feels that way.
But nothing here is her fault. Like, it's...
Well, all the incidents on the ship, Kayshawn getting turned into a puppet.
But also all going to be in the records. It's just because Starfleet hasn't given access to the news network these things. Like, this happens all the time. It's a reporter that then Starfleet will give some comment. I mean, it's just Starfleet being Starfleet. And that's the thing. I mean, she, you know, and half of those aren't her fault. You know, she wasn't on the station when Kayshawn got turned into a
but the general populace doesn't know that what happens on a starship. She even says when Ransom turned into a god and tried to eat the ship like a burger, that's happened to other ships as well.
Yeah,
it's a bad energy thing.
Yeah, that's so a young reporter.
In Starfleet, you know what happens, but the general populace doesn't necessarily know that. It just makes her look bad.
But that's a young reporter not knowing the ropes who's throwing stuff in, but it's going to be rebuked instantly. You know, I mean, there'll be a statement saying, well, Freeman did this, and this. I mean, it feels like a story in the moment, but it really isn't a big deal, and it's all official record anyway. You know, the admirals know, you know, and, like you said, even if the crew wasn't going to actually tell everything, they've done lots of things. Some of the stuff would have come out by the interviews anyway. Like, they would have known going in, she's asking real questions, the crew's going to say some stuff. At least some things have come out. So it feels odd that she wasn't briefed anyway. There's a real disconnect here. It is conspiratorial. The whole thing doesn't vibe like it should.
I find it odd she's interviewing the crew when she's there to report on the, you know, the new project, the Swing By project. Why would she be interviewing the crew about all this other stuff? So yeah, that definitely feels off to me.
Yeah.
Could just be she's trying to prove herself as a reporter. Like you said, she could be a young reporter and trying to get some dirt and get a story that's not what she's there for, essentially.
That's possible, yeah. But that's what I mean. The whole thing doesn't connect super well. There's stretches of logic here that feel deliberate, but yeah, because it would, you know, it would link well if we've had, and I said this in our review, we've had now 3 years in a row of a ship coming in to save the day. It feels it's worn its overstayed its welcome. Unless the payoff is that, well, now this time the Cerritos always gets damaged, always gets saved. Now it's been deliberately damaged, deliberately saved, because they make the headlines where they do it, because it's a big epic moment, so that we can then, like you say, conspiracy prove ourselves. That's like how it's vibing, you know, that you won't expect that the third time. The first time, they're saved by heroicness. Second time, they save with heroicness. Third time, it's a conspiracy of heroicness. That works better than a third time just because.
Yeah. Ozzy Maderos, $2. Shaxx got to fire torpedoes. He did indeed.
All spread, in fact.
All right, well, let's get into the episode. It starts off with, you know, talking about how primarily the California class are for second contact. And it's not really considered top priority until today. And they go on to announce this whole Project Swing By. And everything's great until he says that there's going to be a reporter joining them. And everybody's like, congratulations, Captain. You've been working so long for this. And she's like, no, it's not good. The ship is not good. So we don't want the reporter here. So right away, it's rubbing her the wrong way. And we know that Bonamigo is a friend of their family. Mariner calls him uncle, pretty much. He talks. He's friends with the husband, the admiral. So he's been their family friend for quite a while. It's weird. It's a weird setup, but I like the enthusiasm of everybody else. But Freeman comes off really bad in this episode, multiple ways. She doesn't have faith in her crew. She doesn't have faith that the ship will do good or look good in the eyes of the reporter. And I think that's sad because I've seen a lot of growth in all of our lower deckers over these 3 seasons. So anyway, it just makes her look bad, I think.
Yeah. She's been trying to get off the ship for the entire time. This is her project.
Get better command.
She wants better things. She's got grey hair. If she's been a Cali her entire life, she's not doing well in her career. She's doing fine in her lane, but so I see it more as she has this family friend who's taken her proposition to the top degree. This is a big chance to get out after Packard destroyed the planet. She didn't lose her career, but it's not helped by it by any means. This is a great thing she can show, and if she ends up getting second contact, the whatever the mission's called, she'll probably get assigned to a better ship to do it because they will need more resource than the Cali can do. So I kind of see it as like she does not want to be stuck here for another 5 years. And you fuckers think a Cali's good enough for this? No, we're trying to be a better class of ship. We need to be a better class of ship. We want a better class of ship. Clear the damn ship. But they're thinking this is who we are. That said, obviously the reporter shouldn't be looking at the entire ship because that's not the point of the mission. I guess she knows maybe there's more to it. I mean, maybe she knows that the report really is of her, as it ends up being. You know, she knows it's meant. You know, if she tells her crew I'm leaving, they'll react one way. But if she says, "Oh, it's about the second contact mission thing," actually, it's to see if I'm a good candidate for a better command. That might be the reveal.
It could be, yeah.
But we've kind of already had that.
Why she's so stressed out.
Yeah, because there's a break here that's unnatural.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And Dan, yes, we know there's different comm badges in this episode. The old TNG wanted to make a return for Starbase.
Really? I missed it.
No, you didn't. Don't be so silly. The Dark Lord Revan, $5. Calling it now. Admiral Buonamigo is the bad guy. As a classic bad guy Starfleet Admiral trope. Yep. Kind of makes sense. When I first heard his name, Buonamigo, it's a good friend. It's like, that's a little on the nose, don't you think? Yeah, but we definitely need the bad admiral trope occasionally. Corrupt admirals. The next part, we're talking about the Onarans and the Brekka, and we basically had a rundown by Ransom on a pad, talking about the plague and the Felicium and how they, the suppliers and the addicts. I love the rundown. The pad graphics are great. It's a perfect summation of the episode really quickly. And they kind of like diss on Picard a bit. Picard severed communication between the planets and left. He left? Seriously? So it's our job to go check, make sure everybody's fine. They assume that the Onarans are going to be worse off because they were the ones that were addicted. So they're gonna go there and see how they're doing, see if they need any aid, any Starfleet help.
Yeah, it's textbook, honestly. Textbook good. And yeah, the dunking is real. It's like, dude, Picard didn't even... Huh.
Yeah.
And it felt abrupt in the episode, that's what we've said.
Yeah. And we get Mariner with covered in blueberry, and she's got a
super
lot
tonal
of
change as well.
I don't know how she's got so much blueberry in her footprints. Because even when Freeman goes to the turbo lift is just covered in blueberry. And then when Mariner finally gets to her bunk, she's still trailing a bunch of blueberry. You think it would have worn off by then. But anyway, small thing. But we're talking about the pie eating contest. They're all excited about it. And yeah, they're going to take down Ops. I kind of love her attitude, like yelling at somebody. "Yo, bring it! We're going to take you down." So
it is weird, Mariner, though. She's top level enthusiasm, but it's all positive. It's weird. It's tonally, it's just a bit weird. And yes, there's a lot of pie. I mean, she's eating. And this is today. How many pies is she eating every day? My goodness.
Oh. And Freeman says it's time to roll out some duty changes, I think, to Ransom. So
it's very ominous. And you would think that you could just politely say, "Mariner, I love you. You're doing great this year. Can you just please stay away?" She doesn't try that.
No, she doesn't talk to her like a mom,
No.
or even order her like a captain.
No.
She just doesn't tell her anything. No
Nope.
communication.
That's the problem here. As is many things.
Yep.
But that said, though, as soon as she goes back to the bunker, everyone's complaining, and Mariner is super positive. Like, guys, it's fine. There's a reason. Like, she's so on board. It's weird.
And Sebastian, it's not paint. It's blueberry pie filling.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's been practicing for the pie eating contest.
They even say blue because they don't want strawberry, because she can't always pick. The captain can't always pick. Yeah.
And I love how when she gets back to, like, everybody's like, I can't scan, I can't do anything. They reassigned our shifts to alpha shift. I didn't even know there was an alpha shift. Well, of course there's an alpha shift. You're beta shift. Anyway, but I love how she says,
no, I'm assuming that's the joke,
right?
though. I'm assuming they're so low-key they have an alpha shift. Because they're always on shift with the captain. You think the captain will be an alpha shift. So I actually got the sense of an alpha shift. There's just beta and delta. And that's the joke.
That doesn't make any sense.
Stuart, they live in a corridor.
That also doesn't make
Thank you. But yes, she's from California, isn't she, Stuart, the reporter?
Well, yeah, she's from Flagstaff, Arizona.
And for non-American, that's the next state to California, right?
Pretty much. It is, actually.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yeah. It's near California. It's not in California.
I thought the joke was that it's like half the United States away, like it's near Nevada. Like it's
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then why is Karen being so bitchy? It's like, well, if it's next over, it's fine.
Because Freeman looks bad in this episode.
Okay, I assumed it was a better joke than that.
But her walking the reporter down here when she was actively trying to have the reporter avoid Mariner, why? Because this is the back of the saucer. You would assume the guest quarters would be somewhere else. There's no reason, even if you're taking a tour of the ship, to take her by here. I wouldn't take anybody by the crew quarters that are in the hallway.
It's easy to miss the least important part of the ship.
It's a great view, though. But you go to the front of the ship and look at the stars coming at you instead, if you really want to show off a view.
Yeah, and there must be...
Or the deck above. Just go to the deck above, where your daughter's not... Where her bunk isn't, you know? SPS Guru 2000, 10 euros. As others have pointed out, Freeman is selfish and primarily interested in her own career advancement. The whole swing by program is solely for her own personal image, not out of altruism. Yeah. And he goes on to say another 10 euros, so thank you. When it's revealed that Picard just left there, she isn't aghast at it because of the suffering that would have followed, but because she has to clean up the mess. Absolutely, yeah.
But that is what the Californians do, though. You get jaded after being literally the ship that second contacts for your entire career, for probably 10 years of doing it. That's not her being personal, that's just, is my life. Like, that's my job.
Yeah.
You know? That's fine. Yeah. Now, some people always said in the chat, how much better or worse would this have been if this was Jake Sisko?
Depends what the next episode brings. If it is a conspiracy and she's being used by the Admiral, I wouldn't want it to be Jake Sisko unless he finds out he's being used and then turns that around on the Admiral. You could make that really interesting. It would have been
My father
cool
will hear from this. He's a god.
Yeah, but I have a feeling Jake is more of a reporter at this point, like a higher up swing by mission.
Yeah, you'd like to think so.
Is my take. Yeah.
But it's an interesting idea, though.
Anyway, I love how she's... Yeah. And Mariner's super excited to like, hey, nobody knows the ship like Beta Shift. If you want a tour, let me know.
She's trying to help.
Like, isn't it time for bed? Yeah, isn't it time you go to bed and turns off the lights? It's like, what? Well, that was demoralizing.
Oh, it just occurred to me. Boyman has nothing this week. Absolutely nothing. Neither does Tendy, actually.
No.
Neither does
Tendy. She's been practicing dislocating her jaw, which is...
Neither does Rutherford, actually. They're entirely... Yes, it really is a Mariner and Freeman. Huh.
Yep.
But I guess this episode was last week, really. But she's still being positive. She's saying, even with this, it's fine. We need more free time. Free time equals play equals pie contest. Super positive. The whole episode, she's super trying. She sees the best in her mum and she's super trying. And then the horrible revelation, and what a great graphic. Sellotape, still canon in Star Trek. I'm just saying, canon.
Yeah, Rutherford's upset that it's been cancelled because he's been expanding his GI tract to store more pie. Tendi has perfected dislocating her jaw.
Well, I kind of wish he'd made a joke about, I invented a device that would let me extend my, like...
Yeah.
Could have been all geeky about it.
And even Boimler's like, what was your mom thinking? This is the biggest crew night of the year, not including the Pon Fars. I don't want to know what that is. Oh, actually, I do, actually.
That was very clever. That was they skipped straight by it, but...
Yeah. SPS Guru 2000 throws in another 10 euros. Thank you so much. It's also why she tries to sanitize the Cerritos while the reporter is aboard, and why she says that Mariner made her look like an idiot when she blows up at her at the end. Yes. She's very self-centered and very self-absorbed. Yeah.
But you can certainly imagine if you've been stalled in your career for years and years and years. You know, this isn't a Picard who's got the top of their game. It's although in fact actually you could double down on that. She's now become the most famous captain in the California class. That gives even more pressure as to, well, why aren't I promoted yet? I've done these cool things. Why the hell am I still here? You know. Mm-hmm. But I really wish we get some context why she's highly strung this week, because she's been so friendly other episodes. They've got to do like a 4 days earlier moment, something to give some grounding here. Because they've jumped Mariner to the positive side, jumped Freeman to the negative side, neither of which makes sense in this direct context. But yeah, I love the graphic. And oh no, I look at this. It's just like literally a hotel hall. I love it. It's so, like, even the chairs. You can't get more relatable. I love it. I love it. I love it.
So everybody's upset. They're going to go grab some synthahol at the bar.
Dude, he's got a phaser.
Like, no, man.
He's got a phaser to stop the pie eating people from stopping.
Just stop. Just stun me.
I love it. Which also makes holsters canon in this uniform. We've now seen both types of holsters. Now I could do double holster. And actually, this is interesting. The phaser is explicitly going up like a TNG gun. So these aren't Voyager phasers, because those things have a curve to them. Ooh, and you can't do a Voyager phaser straight down because the curve would be tricky. Ooh, could ask Mike about that.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
And everybody, Devo 77X is like all of them breaking down the trays in the replicator. Why is that so shocking to everybody? We see it all the time. They put the dirty dishes back in the replicator
all the time.
And you hear the sound effect of it because you're returning all those that
pretty
matter
important
to constituent parts back into. So it was cool seeing it, sure, but everybody's upset. They're getting rid of the pie. Just go replicate a pie and eat it yourself.
So my context, these might have been either freshly made pies for realsies or captain's orders pies, which use the high-end replicators. Because you're right, if this was the basic replicators, this wouldn't be worth anything. But they're not reacting in a way that makes sense unless they're like special pies. But if you're doing a pie contest, you would think you'd give them best pies possible. So I think it'd be from the captain's batch, which we know from other shows they do. From this other episode, there's 2 tiers of replicators for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it. Like you could just eat them and be better.
Could be
better than average ones.
Let me get some crew interviews.
God, the mood lighting on this. And this is insane because I knew my doc was coming out the next day.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm watching doc interviews. That was shocking to me. I was quite happy about that.
We hear Kayshawn speaking normally, which I like. He's learned how to speak.
Well, he does half the
Standard
time.
before Starfleet.
He does half the time.
Yeah. Interview the cetacean ops guys. And then we get a really awkward Ransom hitting on the reporter, and she's like, yeah, that's enough for today. SBS grew at 2,005 euros.
Thank you.
Cisco at one point even chided his son. How difficult is it to put your dirty dishes in the replicator? Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So they got to get a drink, but it's off limits right now for these guys. This is our bar. He's like, no, it's not a bar. It's the commander's lounge. It's only for interviewees. And they see Jet in there, and it's like, he's on the list. You're not on the list. It's like a exclusive club.
And it's super interesting to see the Star Trek world like this, but it all does make sense. We're just seeing it from a certain vibe. This gave me super deep Voyager vibes because that's not their mess hall. That's the captain's diplomacy room thing. So it makes sense. You could convert. This could be either or both, and it's it's a good place to interview. It makes sense. It's just the way it's framed in the kind of dark conspiracy vibe. I will also say that in second viewing, I like this segment better because it's clear that they are actually giving away bad tidbits. Each of the actors' vibes are giving off a weird vibe. They aren't, you can see it's happening second viewing. It isn't the
And Mariner
reveal.
says, I'm going to tell the truth. That's not really how things are. I'm going to tell the truth.
Yeah, see, that makes so much more sense the second time, but it is here. You're just seeing it a certain way the first time. It looks too polished the first time. You're thinking, oh, it's going to be, they're just editing out the good stuff. But no, it is exactly as it looks the second time around.
Mm-hmm.
So I quite like that.
And Tamuk says this is different, though. It isn't just food containers being absorbed. It's other stuff as well. It's the food. Your leftovers, whatever you don't eat also gets... It's like that's how replicators work.
I'll explain lunch for a normal Starfleet officer. You go to the Replimat if you're a lower end officer, or you go to your personal replicator if you're a high end officer. You order some food, it creates a utensils to eat it and a bowl, plate, whatever. You eat said food as much as you want, don't have to finish it. You put everything you just took out back in the replicator, you press a button to unreplicate it, it puts all the matter back into the computer, and you've only wasted some that you have. That's it. Because you're not keeping cutlery around, you're not keeping food around, you're not keeping drinks around. Everything goes in, or comes out, goes in, done. That's exactly how lunch is. So, everything.
And Dan Ben says, can you explain what she means by aerial skills and why she does them? I don't know what they are. I don't either.
Yeah, what was that? I remember that was a thing, but I don't know the context.
That was the Trill lady. She says, hold on, let's go back here. Curses for making me go backwards. All right. Last week, I got to scan an ancient probe.
Oh, yeah.
For an unknown civilization. I just signed up for aerial silks. Aerial silks. I think that's where they hang the silk thing from the ceiling and you do the yoga in the silk. I think that's what it is. I don't know. I don't know for sure. Somebody Google aerial silks.
Right.
Not important is what we're saying. So move on.
Okay.
I gotta get back to where I was. So they were.
But it is funny they just entirely ignore the fact that she went through a not a Darmok, what's the thing, a tapestry, and just moved straight by it. It's like, oh, I'm even gonna mention it. Okay, fair enough. Because you'd think that'd be kind of important, but not so much. But it's okay.
So the reporter joins them in the transporter room to go down to Inara.
Mm-hmm.
And they're expecting it to be bad. They show up and say, "That's a pretty nice place, but stay alert. There might be bad things going on beneath this glossy exterior." It's like, "Hey, okay, Starfleet, welcome back." Yeah. Do you guys need help? Do you have any difficulties? And it's like, no, man, we're good. When Picard cut us off, it was kind of bad for a while. Look, we made a mural, and the mural's great. It's like, oh, the Enterprise is leaving, and then the freak out. And it only lasted like 10 to 14 years. But we figured it out, and now we focus on being fit, and you could say we're addicted to that, and that really gets Ransom going. So.
Yeah, it's a great set of scenes. It again feels as if you're waiting for that revelation payoff just a bit, because he's too positive. There's something happening, and I could see, as you said earlier, they could have been prepped to this meeting, and then something happening. They didn't. How they get a picture of the Enterprise? Obviously, first of all, I guess they have scanners, but they got it wrong, Stuart. They have the Saucer impulse drives on. They're never on, except the one CG model in Enterprise, the one shot, because they got that wrong, the source separation. I'm just saying they got it wrong. They're never on at any point in the show. Source separation.
General Grievous says, we'll get off the replicators. But yes, even poop gets recycled.
That
in Discovery.
Because then it goes through and that's how you keep system.
All waste does. Like even paper you throw out probably does.
But I love this dark mural bit. It looks so like anime. Reminds me of Attack on Titan, the way they kill each other. It's
terrifying. Look at the faces on them though.
Yeah, although you wonder, when did they paint this? After? Because there's so much passion going into this. Are they painting it during?
The middle part looks like it was during, like, just a frantic, like.
Yeah, well, there's a bit, isn't there, where it's just like a scribble, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. And then they invented yoga pants. But it's a good scene. It's a little bit, I think, underwhelming, but it's meant to be. But it is really nice to know they all got fine. Like, genuinely satisfying, genuinely positive. Good for them.
And the reporter asks, are all these single missions going to be so superfluous? And she's like, I gotta go do a call. It's top secret Starfleet stuff off camera. And she talks to an amigo, and he's like, you might want to talk to the government just in case it's secretly run by kids or someone pretending to be the devil. Nice little references there.
The heavy hitters make sense to me.
Yep. He's like, this is putting the project in jeopardy. Maybe you should go to... Oh, no. Carol says, maybe we should go back to Beta 3. I mean, those guys, a pretty good chance they've fallen for Landru again.
Mm-hmm.
Another reference. And then Bonamigo is like, well, check the neighbors, the Pusher planet. Maybe they have difficulties we can help with, so...
It all makes sense. And they are right there. I assume they'd have gone to see them anyway, given that they were tied together. And they don't even go to warp when they travel to the other planet, so they're right there. Presumably you can scan them from this range if you want to.
And True Trek Clip says, did anyone else notice that she had a CBS badge as a news reporter? Yes.
To it, there's also a CBS in the AI Evil Archive, so they're everything.
Mm-hmm. So then we get Mariner waiting outside the news lady's quarters. And Ransom overhears what's going on. Because Mariner basically says, I've got some things you're going to want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, ooh, ominous.
And people have pointed out online the mega small reference, but these quarters might be the quarters that Mariner was promoted to when she was lieutenant. It's got the same painting. Might be her guest quarters. Small thing.
JB throws in $5. I love when the captain yelled at her senior staff to go clean up their rooms like little kids. Go straight up your departments now. Oh, she's serious. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's time for a new poll, though. With 92 votes, I asked the question, what do you think of this episode? Well, the results to it.
The results are: liked it wins with 59%, loved it 32%, meh 10%, and I didn't like it. It's 0%. We got a 0%.
Wow.
And poll now, so no, he doesn't screw that up.
That's pretty damn rare, actually. Nice.
Yeah.
Aeon, I agree. Landry's great.
Guys, 81 of you here. While he makes a new poll, 81 of you here. Go vote on the poll when he's done. But hit that like button. We're at 62 likes. I'd like to get up to 80. Should be easy to do. So please hit that like button if you have not already. And yeah. You guys are doing really great communicating and hanging out with us today. So please keep it up. Keep the super chats flowing. We really like it. And we want to hear what you think about this episode, because there's a lot of context to this episode which could go deeper and darker, and we want to hear your thoughts on it. So,
okay, vote now. I think this is very interesting to see what you guys think.
So this new poll is this episode part of a conspiracy? The Texas class? All of it? Conspiracy? Nah, straight episode.
Yeah. Marvin, it's his computer fans. He's an all-in-one, so it is what it is. But we have...
How is it high-pitched, though?
Well, it's what we hear, though. It's your computer moving. It's always there. Can't think about it.
No, I can do about it. Yeah, the next scene starts out really nice, because Freeman's, like, deciding where to place this picture of Mariner on her desk, and she's very proud of it, and it's like, yeah.
Because I'm a mother. People like mothers, therefore.
Yeah. Yeah, gotta have this. My daughter loud and proud on my desk when the reporter comes in.
You know, that lady who was thrown on 3 different ships and proud of this daughter. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Yes.
Squadron Course says, sorry, I gave all my super chat money to some fan film. Probably a useless one. Won't be worth it. SPS Guru 2000, 10 euros. It's subtle, but the episode takes the stance that Picard wasn't right. The mural depicting Don't Leave, followed by a decade of pandemonium. Them saying they traded one addiction for another. Well, fitness is a good addiction to have. It's fine.
It's health.
Yeah. SPS Guru 2000 throws in another 10 euros and says, them saying they work out to silence the voices in their heads, and them telling them passively aggressively, we don't want your help, you've done enough. They're not entirely happy with their lot. True, but yeah, I can understand the hard feelings for sure.
Yeah, it's a super weird tone, because they also then do imply that Picard was right to leave them, which is a weird note because he didn't know. But the fact when you can work out the problem yourself, you're stronger for it, right? That's just a nature of problem solving, etc. Yeah. So if the Federation had been there, I'm entirely extemporizing, right? If they had found a medical drug to wean them off and get them all addicted for another 10 years, to wean them off slowly, and the kids would have had to get addicted, and versus a cold turkey, the chaos of 10, 14 years, and now they've got a fully fleshed out society with a weird heighten on fitness, but it's works and it's positive. That it could be better, and they say it's stronger for it, and they certainly won't fall for the addiction again. What could Starfleet have done without just giving them drugs? Because they did say, Crusher said that they were so hardwired to be addicted because they've been given it for generations. There's not just cold is going to kill them, but some will live. I mean, it's a what do you do without just keep feeding them drugs? So
yeah, counselors to help get through I don't know.
I don't know if you can counsel a drug addiction away.
Well, you can help them deal with how they're feeling, yes.
Yeah, but not the. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Squadron Course, $1. Thank you so much.
Also, you can't give counselors for the entire planet. If there's 8 billion people all addicted, you can't. What can you do?
No.
You can't even start anywhere. So.
Well, yeah, you can do pre-recorded
Sure. Yeah.
Help things and
But then it feels like it's you made this problem. You give us pre-recorded counselor bots. You don't give a shit. There's no winning there. Either you go full on, you give them drugs to get off it, you have thousands of people there to support them daily. You either fully commit or you don't, and they just abandon them. And it's a no win. It's another Kobayashi Maru, and Picard chose next week's episode instead. Hi, Ray. Odds are Rogue Runner Rogue season 2. Ooh, that's a. Do you want to read Ray's comment?
Odds of Rogue Mariner running into Section 31 Boimler. Pretty good. Yeah, I thought that as well.
I didn't, but it depends how long the Mariner subplot is gonna be. If it's a multi-episode arc, then certainly, yeah, there's potential there. There's potential there, but then that's also a very quick reveal for it.
You got the Picard PTSD syndrome, man. You're expecting things to last 12 freaking episodes or 10 episodes before an answer gets done.
Yes, but also they haven't been satisfying with one episode payoff that none of them have hit. Whereas Packlet had a season and it worked really well. So just saying, they've done it well. They've not done it, it's not worked so well. So
yeah. Picard and soap operas gave me like PTSD. A problem that should be solved in 5 minutes takes about 5 weeks. So anyway.
So she grills the captain, and it is full on. It is every event we've seen, which is great. There's so many cool events we've seen, and she tries to genuinely counter, because there are counters for all these things, but there's a bloody list, and the fact she wasn't briefed at all is bad for Starfleet. I love her. What was she saying when she pursed her lips and said that that's not the reason? There's a which one was it? I found that one funny. How do you know about that one?
Oh, where is it here? Oh, the emotional breakdown when she went over to the
it's like, who said that?
Guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a good little scene, and it does make her sound pretty bad. But let's be honest, if you said Janeway's rap sheet or
any of them without context, yeah.
Exactly. Although I love they brought off the clone guy, because that genuinely was her being a total screw up. That's the only one I can call 100%. That's pure bad Captain Revenge. Because that is genuinely, she made a terrible mistake there, and she broke some people's backs, and she would have hurt some people. Then I call back to the lady who was tricking them, which is great, because that's one of those examples of, that is a two-sided story, but to hear she had a heart attack is quite sad. Although you can imagine maybe she did it for the health insurance. Maybe she had a heart attack just to kind of claim some sort of benefit.
A poly heart attack, multiple heart attacks.
Yeah, that was sad. But good little payoff. Yeah, it's nice to have this much canon they can throw it all at them. And Quark, yay Quark. Yeah.
And they mentioned Q, a lot of stuff with Q apparently.
Oh, and then beautiful hard cut to Mariner, who's still in positive mode.
Yep.
And somehow everyone hates her already. Everyone's vibing. I don't know what. That was weird.
This threw me and bothered me a lot.
I don't think, because they can't hear her through the door, and she's not going to come out and say, "Fucking Mariner, send her to the bridge." Well, no, you just go to the bridge, Mariner. So they didn't wonder why they'd know. Don't think they know
Very
either.
True. Yeah. And I love how she says, I guess the camera really does add 10 frowns.
She strikes so hard. And then, no, 100% ouch.
Yeah. I'm not usually worried about morale, but man, it's a dark energy out there.
Yep.
Anyway, Ransom calls her out and going into the reporter's quarters. And what did you say to her? And you get this whole thing. And I love, Mariner says, I just told her the truth. And Freeman's like, you accused her of saying things out of context. No, I gave context. You know, when are you going to grow up? Blah, blah, blah.
Which I hate those. Bad. I hate those generic yelling at you slides of like, oh yes, right, sure. It's not appropriate to what she's doing.
Well, she even says, don't talk to me like I'm 15.
Which is interesting.
Officer. Yeah.
It feels like some specific reference to a specific event.
And an essential part of your crew. Not anymore. What's that supposed to... And I love Ransom. Ransom's like, Captain, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
So even... Yeah, he didn't know.
Because he knows she's been great for the last year.
Yeah.
Like, it's in its entire overreaction, and they all know it.
But she's going to Starbase 80. Shuttle's on its way. And she says, I want you off my ship before breakfast. You can't cause any more damage. You're no longer my ensign or my problem. I don't even know if I can call you my daughter anymore.
That's dark.
Dismissed.
Can't get more dark, can you really?
That's too far over a line for me.
Well, it tells you there's more at stake, because that is not what you say in the situation. Yeah. Something is happening here. But also, it's confusing, because it means that that wherever Starbase 80 is, it's in very, very short warp distance from this planet, this not discovered until years ago planet. And they're not going to stay at Impulse for 2 days to wait for them, so I think they've fucked up distances again.
No, probably.
Because that's not really logical, and they've been good so far.
SVS Guru 2000 throws in 10 euros.
Oof.
The crew judging her didn't bother me. Mariner has a bad reputation, a bad rep, and a very difficult to overcome, but a good one, easy to destroy. And to be honest, season 1 Mariner would have been guilty. Yes, but we've seen change in her. Everyone has, even Ransom has. And that's the whole point of the character arc. And for her mother, who's actually seen it as well in a few episodes, to just jump to the conclusion, I hate that so much. And the fact that the whole crew is against her in this next scene. Shaq says, made us sound like losers. And yeah, Starbase 80. We got more of Levy with the conspiracy nut guy. I'm saying, I know it's all part of some temporal Cold War shenanigans, but what you did was really messed up. And even Jennifer hates her. Like, it's a little too much over the top for me.
It's a lot too much.
Yeah.
It's entirely unearned.
It's like there was a shipwide announcement. I know it's a small.
Well, there is one.
Talk.
And there is one in a second, but
in a second, yeah, but people talk, and it's like everybody in the hallway is glaring at her, like.
No, it's entirely unearned because the captain wouldn't have told anybody, anyway. So them knowing is nonsensical, and they also don't know what she did. All they're implying is that she said stories, maybe badmouth the captain, but they don't know any specifics. They haven't asked a reporter. She's denying it. And surely they each know they themselves said something bad about the captain. Like each of like they all said.
They didn't mean to. They were just saying what happened. They weren't necessarily saying it bad about the captain.
I get that, but they said worse than she did. So the fact they don't even understand they said something events. So obviously no one's being told the information here to put it all together. But it's so abrupt and so weird, and it honestly it feels a lot like when Paris suddenly was late to his duty shifts and suddenly was bad mouthing Tuvok and was suddenly, oh wow, he's off the ship. Huh. I guess he's off the show now. Seska, you know, like that. It has that sort of vibe almost. But the way Mariner plays it, knowing that she completely didn't badmouth, she was being totally honest. It plays even more confusing because everyone just hates her for no reason and no good reason, and like you say, there's not enough time to tell everybody she betrayed us. And even if they did, why would they care so much? Oh no, the captain's one thing isn't. You know, it's very strange, and yeah, like Jen would obviously not react like this.
Yeah, even Mariner's like, I love that she references a TNG episode. She goes, "Is this a frame of mind thing?"
Yeah, thanks, Deadpool.
Am I gonna wake up with a neural drain on my head?
No, the damn name of the episode, Mariner. Jesus. But why would Jen be so negative? It doesn't.
No. Well, Jen's hurt because she thinks she knows Mariner better. That Mariner wouldn't do that, and if everybody's saying that Mariner said all these bad things, and so that I kind of get, but you just talk to the person. You don't assume things.
So she even says explicitly, and Mariner's not really a liar. She's a troublemaker, but it's not really a liar. So she says, I didn't know what I did. Tell me what I did.
Yeah.
Which
What
is
did
why
I do wrong?
Which is why the first time I thought she did just tell stories and the reporter is just overblowing them, which is a fine way of taking it, but that's not even what happened. It's weird.
General Grievous, though, $5.
Thank you.
Everyone turning on Mariner reminded me of the episode where Sloane captured Bashir and put him in the holodeck. I was wondering at first if it was Section 31.
It's weird. Yeah.
Matthew DeFreitas, $5. I want to know if Catherine Archer knows this green reporter. Does Kat have a floating camera? And does it shoot in 4K? LOL. The people want to know.
Wow, you are... Did you get that? Is that right on the... That's such a fun super chat. Because I named... So for context, guys, I released a fan film today called Battle of Velsac 2, and it's a documentary by Memory Alpha, not by FCN... What's it called?
FNN.
Not by them, because they're a little bit too biased. Memory Alpha, much better. And I named the narrator, who's obviously interviewing Captain Hunter, as Catherine Archer, as a way of, I liked the idea that Archer's descendants would go into, historian stuff. So I thought it'd be a nice name. I think probably shooting in 12K. And I think
20K at this point.
No, at that point the skin looks too gross. So it's 3D 12K. And no floating camera. Although the camera is moving, in fairness, so it could be a floating camera, but I don't want to. Yeah, hopefully not floating.
Jasper Jedi member for 7 months at the rank of captain.
Thank you.
That was definitely too far. That it makes me think it was just a rug pull for her Mariner to indeed be going undercover.
Thinks that. Everyone. Vote in the poll, guys. Is this episode a big conspiracy? Only 53 votes. Vote now.
SVS Girl 2000, €10. She's only been improving for a short time, and it is easy to see how the crew and her mom would see this as an obvious relapse at best, or her recent improvement an act at worst. I disagree. She made progress in season 1.
Well, she went from hating on the captain to being lovely with the captain to being okay with the captain. So it's been 2 full years of development.
Yeah.
Like, it's positive.
Not a short time at all. So,
I mean, if the seasons aren't full years, which they kind of have said they aren't, because anyway, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
But also, you would think that they all knew Mariner in her pre-revelation who the mummy's time was, that she was more angry, more annoying, more hard to deal with, and she became a lot nicer, and they all have dealt with her because she's so outgoing, or at least a lot of them would have. So you'd think that enough of them would think, well, she hasn't been like that for months and months and months. And it just, yeah.
Oops, I missed a super chat way back when. Flavius V. Flontina
Great name.
Throws in 25 Ron, I don't know.
Thank you.
Currency is, but thank you. Trekyards, keep up the great work. Lower Decks is still the best Trek show in 2022. So the Admiral is a bad guy? Very likely.
Real possibility, yeah.
Sorry if I missed super chats. Sometimes I do miss one or two, so just let me know.
Cool. Thanks so much.
And SVS Guru 2000 throws in another €10.
Making all the difference.
Either way, it's a dark mirror to the start of season 3, where Mariner went rogue to prove her mom's innocence. Yet at the end, her mom doesn't believe her at all. Right? Yeah.
I mean, this season has thematic ties, which are very clear. Just less overall story ties. And Captain Casey Stewart says it's going to be a straight episode. Fair enough. Flavius, have you changed your super chat policies? No! Just missed it.
Yeah, because they keep moving up. I got a big window with all of them.
Yeah. But
they keep moving up, and I try to... And sometimes I just miss one because we're talking too long and it just gets lost. So I apologize.
I mean, we just like to have conversations. This is quite an interesting episode.
All right, so Mariner is packing. Well, there's an announcement. Don't say anything to Mariner.
And that's even worse as a concept. Just gets that I think is one of those, like you said, like just being terrible cat. That's a line being pushed. Like, seriously? Jeez. Okay.
Yeah.
And new people I don't recognize in the corridor.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's glaring at her. It's everybody.
I love how she's packing her uniforms, even though she's not going to be in those uniforms anymore, which seems redundant to me. But whatever.
Plus, they also can replicate their uniforms, so I don't know.
Oh, and Wanda's like, it's not the worst thing you've done. It's like, well, yeah.
It's gonna blow over. You've done worse.
But that's the thing. He doesn't seem to have done. She doesn't seem like it. It feels the worst thing she's done, even though it clearly isn't. It's weird.
General Grievous, $5.
Thank you.
Reminds me of the Clone Wars when Ahsoka was framed for the Jedi temple bombing and was kicked out.
Jeez.
She never went back even after she was cleared. Yeah. Mariner says this is her first time getting kicked off a ship. You know, the worst part is the goodbyes, so just skip it. And she says this always happens, even though everybody's like, don't leave. Then we get introduced to the awesome Starbase 80 guys. Bucket Mariner. I like how the one guy's like, ooh, this is a nice ship. Doesn't smell like garbage or sweat. Man, I'd do anything to work here.
Yeah,
is the captain coming to see you off? No? Okay.
Yeah, it was a real joy to see this shuttle again. Every time. And I mean, I did this in Trek Shorts, seeing the different classes coexist, and that's really fun. but it feels different. It looks different. It is different, and I mean we've heard of Subbase 80, I believe, twice this season. Only this season though, and everyone had a fear about them, which kind of implied it was very dangerous or treacherous. I wouldn't have guessed stupid if I was a betting man. I'm assuming they had lots of stupid accidents, which make it a dangerous place to be. But that's neither here nor there. And yes, they are still using the TNG com badge, which I don't believe we've actually seen yet in this show. I know we saw it during the Joint Starfleet Day on the pads. We saw them then, but not on a character. But they look fantastic. Very happy to see them. And they're bloody... I mean, they are throwing us these damn curveballs of... No, it's fine. They can be using a 17-year-old com badge. That's fine. No one tells them to change. And more
it doesn't change.
Stargazer. God damn it.
It doesn't change his ads. And here comes one right now. Thank you, YouTube, for that.
That's such a shitty Subway? Segway. I love it. But literally, these com badges, because Stargazer used them, are like 35, 40 years old. Like, these guys are going to be in their 40s, 50s. Like, when they were teens, these com badges are being used. Why the hell aren't they... Like, that... I mean, it makes me kind of think... I was going to joke this with you earlier. I was going to come in like Nemesis and wear a TNG com badge as like a joke of like, oh, we can all wear the old ones. Does that mean in a fan film I can now have people in entirely mismatched pieces? I guess? But I'll get called out, and it feels weird. I love seeing them, but it feels weird.
Yeah.
And it's a one-size-fits-all, not uniform. And then we've got, like, bright...
One size fits some. Yeah. SPS Guru 2000, 10 euros.
Thank you.
Anyway, it once again shows how much of a better character Mariner is versus Burnham. If Burnham was kicked out of Starfleet, I would have cackled with Schadenfreude. I actually felt sorry for Mariner. Well, yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. We've said many, many times that Mariner is at least 10 times as good as Burnham. Yeah.
Nice shot of the shuttle departing, even though it's very dark, the shuttle, so it's hard to see against the black of the space, but...
Fantastic, though. Really, really nice to see. And it goes to warp.
Yeah.
Which is a first. It couldn't go to warp in TNG, even though they'd warped nacelles, but they weren't. They were like fuel tanks, because the ship's tiny. So as you coined the phrase, this is a Type 15 Type 15A shuttle, the warp variant.
15A.
And then we're going to name it that and see if it catches on, because I thought that was fun. And it is a little bit different, the design.
You need to put in one of your fan films.
Now I can legitimately go to warp in one of these things, which will feel so weird to see it warp. Oh, that'll feel gross. I've done it before. Because that's the whole point. There's an entire fab I made where they're so shit they don't go to warp. It's just stuck. It's less good when you can go to warp.
But anyway, yeah, they see her warp off and they're like, orders, Captain. Continue course to Brecca. And I love the little tactical display on the view screen and then the slow little off camera.
And it's that close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was because they had sublight freighters. You can actually see Onara in the background when they get to Brecca.
Yeah.
That's how close they are.
Yep.
So yeah. They give Dr. Miglimo the con.
This is a great payoff. It's the stupidest payoff, and I love it.
Initiate a communication link with my Mima. Wanted to see your special boy being the captain.
It's so stupid. I love it. Why? It's like leaving Deanna in charge. Because they don't take Keishon down. He should be. I mean, I know he's hard to speak, but he should be in charge, really. Or Billups. Everybody authorizes him.
Yeah. But we see the beam down. We see the little hover helicopter things, and there are a lot of broken windows. So it looks like it might have been deserted for a little while, at least.
But only in this zone, though, and this could be a military base, which is where you'd attack if you were whatever. But it told us still advanced, and not. You'd think at least you'd have scrapped these for parts, so it hasn't gone full post-apocalyptic, And
Ozzy says Boimler's at a news station on the bridge. No, he's not. He was there quite a few times.
He's normally there.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's a pilot normally. But this is
And-
I'm shocked I don't get it's dangerous very quickly, because they take a long time to guess.
Yeah. Well, I love the first line when they beam down. Well, I hope you know my daughter's stories. My daughter's a little biased, or heavily biased. And then reports like, "Oh, is that so? So all the good things she said about you are just because you're her mom? Okay, good to know." We didn't know that at the time, but it was just that context is neat. SPS Guru 2000 throws in €5. There's a lieutenant on the bridge. Why give the con to the shrink?
Because they want to talk to the bird mother.
Yeah. Anyway, there's more talk about Project Swing By and how that should be the reporter's focus.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, well, this Onara was a dud, so hopefully this is better. But who are we going to help? There's like nobody around. And then Phaser's out. Something's not right. To which Ransom runs into this girl in an alley and is like, found somebody.
At this point, Stuart, the episode could go anywhere. We haven't restarted the episode yet, and no one could have predicted.
I assumed that these people were in like really suffering because they haven't been able to supply the Felicium.
There'll be some big political thing with Freeman's being looked down upon, they might be kidnapped. No! Hard right curveball, she gets brutally disintegrated. And you get a superb reveal, so much so that the Breen are literally sitting, one guy's sitting on the floor. If you look at where he's framed, Ransom walked out into an alleyway, saw a lady, and the other side of the alleyway is a guy doing this. Just sitting down, waiting, and he just stands up with a gun. It's like, I literally was watching him like, oh, is that Starfleet? Oh, there is. It's just funny. But it's a great reveal, though.
But she gets disintegrated right in front of Ransom.
Brutally.
Yeah.
And this is great choice of Breen, because you can make it dark and the green helmet really stands out. And and they take a phaser hit and don't, like, the phaser didn't work. That's interesting as well. Oh.
You see all the Breen all of a sudden appear in all the windows and start
That's another
firing.
great shot.
Yeah.
Why, though? I'm guessing they've been, once they saw a ship in orbit, but they wouldn't know where the beam in would be.
Unless it's a setup.
Well,
from Admiral Buonamigo.
I mean, they happen to be at all the windows. Did they break the windows for this? Don't know. It's weird, but yeah, this is a firefight. Although no one hits. Well, I guess they do because the thing blows up. But
well, yeah, just as they're beaming out, there's like almost like a rocket launcher. It's like a little photon launcher.
Oh yeah. I was shocked they weren't transport jamming.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. But that's okay. But yeah, really harsh right turn. And I was certainly excited.
And then Mima, you shouldn't be calling me at work, mother.
Look at his little diploma. Look at this little cute little picture. That's so cute. But yes. And yeah, we're in a really good life and death phaser battle war thing with fantastic looking Breen ships. They use
3 Breen ships versus 1 Cali class, man.
And they use their energy dampening, which doesn't actually work, but it sort of works. Instead, it was their warp drive, which in fairness might have been their idea, because it's more useful to disable some of the stuff.
Well, as soon as it hits, the shields are failing. So.
But their weapons are still up though, so it works somewhat, but not fully.
SPS Guru 2000, €5.
Dude, you're killing it.
Also, no old scorch marks on any of the buildings. There never was a firefight in that city before.
Yep, exactly. It's weird. It's real weird.
I love the fire torpedoes full spread. Get like 6 torpedoes and they each get point defense phaser destroyed before they hit their target. Boom. That's awesome.
And this is like brand new.
They covered the spread, Captain. I love that line.
And they're so TOS how they fire torpedoes. They're so diddly and this is the first, the way they destroy this. This is Breen are truly come for business. You know, these ships are capable. And that basically gets them screwed. Because then we get this beautiful Star Trek 6 reference of a single bright orange torpedo coming out moving around, then hitting in the same Star Trek 6 way. Really great reference, really damaged, you really feel it. I was then obviously left thinking, oh, we're doing this again.
Yeah.
It's the third time we're under attack and getting damaged and whatever. Feels a little bit over the top. But the visuals are so good of the swarm, and it's I mean, it could go anywhere, you know. The ship is just attacked more times than anyone, really.
Zango 76. Luckily, they took their phasers on a peace mission and beaming down with a civilian.
Well, she said I feel safe with them. She feels safe because they're armed. Yeah, of course you would. And also, it's not such a peace mission as a let's see how they're doing mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we get damage to all decks, seal affected areas, blah, blah, blah.
Ooh.
They're
No,
surrounded.
Joan Grievous's comment. That's a really good one.
I almost thought at first that the Onarans set up the Brachians and had the Breen exterminate them as revenge and tried to sick them on the Cerritos to keep them from finding the truth. Could be.
That's
Could
incredible.
be the reason that they suffered for 10 to 14 years.
Yeah.
Was because they actually couldn't get over their addiction. The Breen came and offered us. Who knows? Yeah, I like it.
I mean, it would add to the conspiracy feel. Very possible. And Raj asks, did the Breen use the energy dampening weapon? I thought all first ships were protected. Yes, they were, like 10 years ago. But
And this is a Cali class, so.
yeah, I mean, they obviously, you know, with all weaponry, you evolve as you go. So they designed, you know, new ones that go through, and they're not so fussed about lower end ships being as well protected.
Yeah. Mark Lawrence, $10. Green ships still asymmetrical and hard hitting. My kids had a good laugh at how loud the Breen hail was. Yes. That's the scene we're at right now, actually. We're being hailed and you...
It's a fun vibe as well, for sure.
But why aren't they finishing us off is also suspicious. Because they're surrounded, and then they're going to board us. It's like, okay, they're going to board us, so they're going to capture us, they're not going to destroy us.
Again, feels like a weird... What's happening?
And the boarding thing is very cool, attaching to the window, and then it's the Breen soldier there, like...
It's good
menacing,
visuals.
man.
Yeah.
Breen don't take prisoners. Do not try to negotiate. Defend yourselves at all costs. I like that too.
Although there is, again, super Packlidy. These are all very familiar vibes. Yes, I love the vibe of the harshness of it. It's even more aggressive than the other ones, and Keishami is dagger. But it's so familiar now, this trope. I think it's intentional, but... Well, I would like to have thought that Strax would have more than 2 security, and not the 2 heads of security. It's like, this is animation, you can have 10 people, 15 people, you know, give yourselves best odds. But no, suddenly, the Enterprise comes in. Nope, not the Enterprise. Titan comes in. Nope, not the Titan. The Cerritos from another universe. Nope, it's an unknown. Oh. And it wrecks shop. Entirely wrecks shop. I mean, you can't get more wrecking of shopping, really, if you tried.
And the Breen are even like, what the hell is that? I don't know.
No. That's funny. That's a funny moment.
And we have an episode coming out about that this weekend, so tune into that. We got a lot to talk about with the ship. But anyway, this thing's a powerhouse, small little ship, and it's
little.
Just
no,
cuts.
it's small. Small.
It is actually little.
It is.
But it cuts through the Breen ships like butter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's quite maneuverable by the looks of things. So yeah.
Very impressive, yeah.
I love how the Breen ship sets a collision course with the Cerritos as well. It's like they're gonna ram us, and it's like, nope. I wish it would have been sprinkling of debris on the Cerritos hull or something.
Ooh.
Kind of missed that a little bit, but. And it's the NA01. Now, I didn't tell you, but Aaron Waltke was in my chat last night, and he super chatted and says, "So, what do you think NA stands for, compared to NX or NCC?" And I'm like, "Well, it's
naval automated. Yeah,
it's not experimental, and it's not." And then he talked about what NCC means and stuff. And he's like, sends another super chat and goes, "I was just being facetious. You passed the test." Like, thanks, Aaron.
Love him. He's funny guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
But it's a good scene, and it put me on serious. I thought I knew it was going to happen. I didn't. What? Huh? Vibes. The whole thing throws you off. I was genuinely assuming that this was going to be Mariner warping in on a Galaxy-ish era shit ship, but it was like huge, and like they can't operate it because they are so bad officers, but she's really kick-ass. So she was going to instantly be like, can you like, this is what I was picturing. Within the hour, she was promoted to commander because she was so much better than them. She requisitions a ship. She's able to fix it en route, like, to be better. She comes in, she does something really epic, and with her skills, and then she's like, "You're welcome, Mum. I'm gonna go back to my base and make the best of it." So that's kind of what I thought, especially as time and distance are skewed this week. They could have justified that in a stupid way, but this, I mean, you couldn't have predicted it. It's entirely out of left field, and as you said, why would they even be close? Because they didn't even know. These guys didn't even do a distress signal. The last thing we talked to Starfleet was earlier this afternoon when you said that other planet's fine. So this automated ship would have to be in range of sensors to detect Breen weapons fire and a Federation signature being damaged, which makes it massively close.
And the Breen could have destroyed them. They had them surrounded. And
they should have.
Why aren't they destroying us? Oh, they're boarding us. They're buying more time almost. It's like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, they're attacking you to not take prisoners.
They want to take the ship, but it's only Cali class, so it's like, why bother? I don't know. SPS Guru 2000, €5. I thought it was going to be a clone Boimler on the Not Defiant, especially with that phaser cannon, like first attack. Yeah, I didn't even really think about that at the time, but that would have been neat.
But same thing, a very quick payoff of the Boimler.
Oh, been super quick, yeah.
But it was cool though. It was very cool, and the fact that we notice Automated straight away, and we get straight into the Admiral, and his vibe is again weird. He has no sympathy they got attacked. He has no sympathy that the Breen. It's very direct.
He did say, "Thank goodness you're safe. You're okay."
He has to say that.
Carol, thank goodness you're okay. Yeah. Are you on that ship? No, it's the new Texas class, the Alito. First of 3 fully automated Federation starships. And it looks like she just passed her sea trials. And then the reporter does something really weird. "Admiral, wow, this ship is amazing." It's like she's too over the top about the ship. "As of today, considered declassified. I'm happy to tell you anything and everything about the Texas class. See, the goal of our new ship class." And then Freeman's like, "What the fuck just happened?"
I went from being the hero to the planet's in danger to I'm in danger to I'm gonna die to, oh.
Now they're selling a ship. It's a ship commercial.
Yeah.
This would be a good time for an ad. There you go. Maybe you got an ad for the new Texas class ship that you can buy.
I mean, that would be Synergy by CBS. Weird, but true. But yeah, it was weird. All stuff's just weird. But it's good though. You know.
And Ransom talks her up. He's like, "I don't know. I mean, Project Swing By.
Yeah.
Looks like it could be a success. We just revealed a Breen incursion. So I think everybody's going to be impressed with you."
But why are they there? I don't care that they're there. I want to know why they're there. Captain Casey Stewart, stupid ads. Captain Casey Stewart, they partially pay for the channel, which pay for our rent. We need the stupid ads.
Yeah, they're kind of a necessity, unfortunately.
Yes. Speaking of, though, F&M presents Starfleet Shame, a Victoria News expose, which I love the graphics. They're so harsh. Very Babylon 5 vibe, but I love it.
Yeah. SPS Guru 2000, €5. They also didn't send a distress call before the Alito warped in contrast to the Packwood fight, so he shouldn't have known of the attack. Yes.
Yep. Nope,
we mentioned that because it's,
there's so much dodge here. And they're smarter than this. But yeah, I love these interviews. They're so good, and the harsh edits, and love it. It's so American. You guys, not you, but the audience.
I love Kayshawn. I got turned into a puppet on my very first mission. The crew never held it against me, though. And I love they have lavalier mics as well.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Except for Mariner. Mariner didn't have one.
No, she does.
Does she?
Yeah. Same thing.
Oh, Shax doesn't have one. Okay.
No, Shax.
I knew somebody didn't have one.
And then hard cuts Mariner being so positive and so nice, and it feels so weird. She's Didn't expect that. I thought it was going to be something else.
And then the little jab, like she's like, you choose your family, but here I have both, and blah blah blah.
Ooh,
Strongest ship in the fleet, and probably the best captain.
oh.
My mom.
And then it shows her leaving these beautiful, sad camera views. It's great.
It says she was transferred off the ship just for talking to me. Is Freeman really the best captain, or simply a cruel taskmaster? Yeah, it's a real smear campaign for Freeman.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, you can't get more vicious, really. Oh, it's fantastic. And the guy in the robes back. Bloody hell! Every episode.
It's still a small towel.
He has shows every day, doesn't he? But despite that, she's the expose. The rest of the crew badmouthed her in small amounts, which led to the whole story, which is a very odd reveal, but I like it. So she's trying to get through to the starbase, and it's not working, and there's bats, and they've got a broom, and it's very weird.
I love how, like, you don't even have communications. Rude. We usually do.
It's cool. But they're L-cars. They're L-cars themed things. It's so stupid. I love it. Oh, God.
But can't connect you to her because she resigned. Handed in her comm badge and everything. Comm badge and phaser, yeah.
And phase of the camera and
then where are you? What have I done? And I get to reveal she's hanging out with Petra Aberdeen from the archaeologist from the other episode. So
who somehow she managed to find, talk to, get a job, get new clothes, all in the space of very quick. And she's already very happy, it feels like.
Yeah.
She's very into it. It's a little bit abrupt.
I'm talking about mummies.
Which is funny.
They don't usually dig themselves up, but sometimes.
Which I do like. And
a cool looking ship. I kind of like the ship, honestly.
We've not looked at it yet, but we look forward to looking at it a bit later. Yeah, it's very odd ending. I don't know how to feel at the end of it. I mean, we know there won't be forever because that's the nature of the show and any sort of TV. But at the same token, and also I felt a bit like she's cheating on Jen. You know, like a little bit.
Wow.
I know she's not. But
yeah, Jen deserves it with the attitude she had.
But it feels a little bit like that to me. It's like, oh man. But she's so already in on it, and she's so Starfleet that this feels so out of left field. I mean, I guess so was the other lady was, but I'm assuming that next week they'll bump into something huge, which will then do something bad, which will then mean she has to come back. I don't know. It could go anywhere from here, because really this feels like a season finale, you know. But then, okay, next season. It's very strange.
SPS Guru 2000 throws in €10.
Beautiful.
Can't wait for the future talk that Freeman will have with Mariner, where Mariner lays into her. I stole a ship so I could prove your innocence, and you won't even hear me out. Screw you, Mom. Hey, did you write it? That sounds exactly like something that would be in the show.
Yeah. Great point. Yeah. I mean, other stuff happens in between, obviously, and you kind of get the sense that Freeman isn't going to remember favors. She's going to remember bad things. That's kind of that's kind of the vibe she gives off. Like, doesn't matter if you help her a year ago, won't care anymore. And it's like, okay. Well, she burns bridges, but she's a very odd lady, which is why she's, not on a good ship. She's on a low-end ship.
It's a good way to bookmark the season as well. Starts out with Mariner doing everything to help her mom, and then her mom at the end of the season cutting her off. It's weird.
Well, and presumably doing everything she can to help the daughter in the next episode would be the obvious bookend. Maybe, I mean, the ship, remember the S3Es just got busted up. Like, it had a torpedo through all 10 decks of the saucer. Like, in theory, this thing, it could entirely mirror itself. It could be in dry dock again being repaired. Freeman has to steal the Enterprise to go after the daughter. Like, they could mirror it exactly. Because otherwise you have to have a huge time jump to fix that. Because that would take weeks to fix that. A lot of structural damage.
Unless the Texas class is also a mobile repair facility. Starts, like, using its replicator on the front.
At warp as well.
Yes.
Advancements.
General Grievous, $5. Theory. One amigo is Section 31 and tried to frame
Ooh.
Freeman for the Packwood planet and tried to
Ho-ho-ho!
set her up this time when the first plan failed. But why? Why is there such a... Why does he have it out for Freeman? What did she do?
But also, how did you frame Freeman?
Is Mariner actually his daughter?
Well, shit.
That'd be interesting.
But also, how's about framing Freeman is that they just reported what really happened to a reporter that has every right to know in the public record. That nothing there was dodgy. It's just that this reporter went a bit, zealous with the
Just
the
put
context.
a negative lean on
Yeah.
the story. Yeah.
I mean, it isn't that Keishon got converted. It's that the crew managed to save him. That's the story.
Yeah.
Like that's the great thing. So Stuart, closing thoughts for you. And guys, if we can get another $50, that'd be fantastic. I would like to say that I'm going to do another live tonight, Stuart. Even though I've got to go early tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a Trek Shorts launch into GoGo Live in about an hour. For an hour to go through the campaign, hopefully convince you all to donate some money, etc., and show off some cool things. And now I can talk about everything publicly, which is great. So join me again in an hour if you'd like to see that Trek Shorts.
There you go. Yeah, another 50 to close out would be great. Please go vote on the poll. We'll probably end that when we're both done here. But
Closing thoughts,
and 2 more likes.
Oh yeah,
More
I do.
likes. So again, yeah, there's a lot more here to this episode than I originally thought first watch. I didn't quite get all the conspiracy vibes, but there's so much that could be a possibility. And Buen Amigo seems a little bit obvious, honestly. He is from Texas because he's got the Alamo behind him on his shelves, which he had the first time we saw him as well. So it's this Texas class is his baby, but I hate the way Freeman is portrayed in this episode. Doesn't even try to get Mariner's side of the story. Doesn't confirm with the reporter what was said. The reporter doesn't volunteer information, which I guess most reporters probably wouldn't. But there's just a lot of things that happened. Like when the reporter saw that she was being kicked off the ship, she should have been like, why? She only said positive things about you to the captain. You know what I mean? Like, far be it for them to get involved. But, and I like the callback to the TNG season 1, episode 22, Symbiosis. That was great. The frame of mind reference and Landrew and all the little references in here. Thank you, Lower Decks, for that. Easter egg, like audio references. Great. Seeing the Breen back was awesome. I do like the Breen. We need to learn more about I love how you put it. Like the Breen are the next generation equivalent of the Tholians. You know they're powerful, but you don't know anything about them. They're very mysterious. So that was a great analogy that you said earlier. Not during this live, but during our review. Yeah. Very Mariner and Freeman focused this episode, which is fine. I just hope the payoff is good next episode. I'm glad Petra Aberdeen is back. I kind of like that character. Hopefully she's not a bad guy or anything like that. But yeah, I can see this all being a huge conspiracy, even her being at the booth beside them, put there specifically to kind of entice Mariner to leave Starfleet. Oh my God, it could be such a... But then Lower Decks is just taking the form of all new Trek. Picard, Discovery, where it's all dark and conspiracies going on and all this. I don't like that, and I don't want Lower Decks to do that. So hopefully it's not that. I don't know. Anyway, good episode. I think it was paced very well, and no real issues with it, except for the stupidity of Freeman taking the reporter right by the bunks. Unless this is all a big elaborate plan to get Mariner to look bad, to have her leave Starfleet and still be working for Starfleet. I don't know. It could... Oh my God, my brain hurts now, because now once you say conspiracy, you start looking at every little thing and trying to link it. So score-wise, for this season, I'm going to have to give this one a 8.3. For all of Lower Decks, I'll probably give it a 7.9. Upper echelon kind of thing, but not quite the best. So there you go. Oh, and by the way, guys, super chat in your scores. I will read all the
Yes.
super chat scores when Samuel's done giving his score. And if you just want to put your score out of 10 in the regular chat, Samuel will read those when he's done here as well. So
Pretty much.
there you go.
Yeah, no, I sort of yeah, I agree with a lot of that. It's good, but wait to see next week. It has the right ideas, but it's weirdly executed, hopefully on purpose. If not, they just went a bit weird this week. Feels like they had a new writer, they didn't quite know what they were doing with Mariner or Freeman, like push them in this direction for the story, but well, that's not quite how they'd react, etc. But there's the fact there's so many clues, and let's be honest, the fact they brought back the conspiracy guy, second time in the entire franchise, that to me feels like another clue. This could be a conspiracy themed episode.
Yeah.
Because anyone could be that guy, right? But the conspiracy guy specifically.
Yeah.
Like, I'm honestly almost thinking it's a temporal Cold War joke. Like, that is him being real. Like, the part 2 is actually...
He knows the truth. He knows the truth.
Yeah, like, these actually temporary Cold War, like, influence Breen or something. Like, that would be really clever. Because then they say it, but you don't know it's real until the second part. The rest of the crew get almost nothing to do. Really almost nothing. It's very, very focused in that regard. But there's lots of one-line jokes that are funny. It's quite a good comedic episode. But yeah, we've debated already. It's dense where it's dense. It's light where it's light. And I'm excited for next week. But nowhere near as last season's ending moments, because the season has not been on par with the other ones. Good, but not great. And score-wise, yeah, it's one of the better ones this season, but that's more the season's not been so good. First, this episode's great. I'm gonna give it a solid 7.9. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that score will go up to like an 8.5 with next week. I'm hoping. Mm-hmm. Overall Lower Decks, I'll go solid 7. Might be a bit generous, but I think that's fair because I'm hoping for next week. So I reserve the right to change both these scores for next week. But this is the only second episode I've given a higher score than you have. Or you've given a higher score than I have. Every week I've given a higher score so far. Interesting. Guys, your scores. I really want to know.
We have some super chat ones. So
fantastic.
Ray Ricks throws in £5. This is all so too much. Boimler's death faked. Mariner kicked off Cerritos. The most convenient rescue in history. Yep. SPS Guru 2000 throws in €5.
Thank you.
Says 8.7 out of 10. Mariner has come a long way from drunkenly slicing Boimler's leg open with a contraband bat lip.
Yes.
Has. Episode 1. How we love thee. And Danny Janey throws in $25.
Amazing.
Thank you so much. Good episode, 8 out of 10, but unfortunately resulted in a fight at our house about whether space pods have warp. Perfect Star Trek. Well, as we said, it's different. If you watch our episode on it, which we have coming out, it is different. It's got different things on the front of the ship, which we deflector kind of thing probably, and it's a warp capable version. It's a few years old, so they've refitted it.
15A. Because it doesn't really make sense in the series to have any shuttle variants without warp. Any of them.
Yeah.
Just add warp. To all of them.
An SWTX Chaser member for 33 months. Wow, at the rank of Commander.
Don't ever leave.
Commander.
That's my reaction to that.
I can't believe we've been able to join the channel for 33 months already.
It's kept us going, Stuart.
I know. 8.5 out of 10.
Wow.
That's the score. So.
Okay, then question to everybody in the chat. If next week is worse than this week, like if it doesn't pay off well, would you give this episode a less good score? Or are they so separate in your mind that it doesn't matter? Quick question to you guys. And like I said, join me in about sort of 45 minutes for another live on this channel, same Trekyards Play, to talk about my Trek Shorts project. And I'll give you some scoops, because I can show off stuff now, guys. Exclusively on Trekyards, well, hey.
And I don't know whether to call the last super chat slot Danny Janey or SWTX Chaser, because it's not really a super chat from Chaser, but
it is the monthly one freebie they get. So
yeah, it's the join member
yes
message
yes
slot. But Danny Janie has the last super chat slot. If everybody wants it, now's the time, real quick. But I think we're closing out here. So,
and we are $1 away from the goal I asked for previously. So $1, and this is really going to help our previous week. So thank you guys. We're nearing the end of the month, and this will help a good chunk. So awesome, guys. So yeah, so let's look at some non-super chat scores then. What have you guys all said? BJ Turin 7.5. Okay. Alan Parr 8 out of 10. I have a feeling everything is going to slot together next week. The Lodex team are smart enough to pull it off. Yes, exactly. Eric 8 out of 10. The Stanley 7.5. Ray 7 out of 10. Squadron Course 7.5. Sunken moments, but not quite as good as Battle of Velsac 2. Thank you. The Dark Lord Revan 7. Sean 8. John Grievous 8.5 replicated things out of 10. Dan Ben 7 out of 10. Aussie
butt bugs, not plugs. You can say butt bugs. It was said in lower decks.
Osmonderos 8.2 out of 10. Todd 7.8. I feel this is a lot like when Michael Byrne went rogue. And Just for 8 out of 10. So we're on the slightly lower end of the spectrum, but everyone's about the same, roughly. In the same ballpark.
Squadron Course, $1. SVS Guru 2000, member for 12 months at the rank of Commander. Says no change, enough meat in this to stand on its own. Okay. Unless we see conspiracies where conspiracies aren't, and it's just like a, well, that was a convenient moment. But yeah, you had now the last member comment slot, so thank you. Ray Ricks throws in £1.
Thank you.
Sean T throws in $2.
Ooh.
And Grant McGregor throws in $5 and says, just got in. The Texas class does look like the Picard rescue ship a little. Also, 250, if I'm wrong, from the last night cap. Yeah, Grant McGregor was the one that said if he's wrong about his theory, he's going to super chat 250. So thank you, Grant, for showing up. I thought it was you, but I wasn't quite sure. I didn't remember the name.
Well, that would help the month a lot. So that's some...
We've talked about it a lot, and you could very well be right. It kind of seems like
you've got a poll about it as well, and the audience are voting. You can see it.
Yeah.
Rescue ship. Yeah, a little bit. It's a very familiar ship design, which is part of the Trek should be familiar. Like there's design language and lineage, so makes sense. But then PX says 8.5 out of 10. Interesting. Cool. Well, thank you all very much. To end the poll, 84 votes, 80% conspiracy. So, if they have led their breadcrumbs correctly, we've guessed the plot, at least the conspiracy-ness. If not, they're not. So yeah, join me again in about 45 minutes. If you would like to learn about Trek Shorts, ask questions, look at some content, I'll be showing off more stuff on the Indiegogo, and hopefully convince you guys to put something into the pot. As it were, long way to go. Very long way to go, because it's a big old project. It's a scary far to go, Stuart, I'll be honest. But all I can do is try.
You'll do well, my friend.
Yeah. Let's hope. So
I've seen the Indiegogo video, and it's awesome. So hope you guys enjoy it.
Appreciate it. So yeah, you'll see us on Saturday and Sunday. We'll see you on Monday. Until then, he is the amazing Captain Foley.
And he is the fan film entrepreneur, Commander Cockings. Go support his work.